Kevin, are you ready for today's word of the day? Which word of the day?
Yeah.
Today's which word is cacodemoniomania.
Wow. I love it. Cacodemoniomania, is that how you say it?
Yep, you got it. I knew you'd love this. Actually, this connected some dots for me. I'm so excited. So let's break this down. So in Old Latin, which was then derived over to Greek, they called a spirit, just a neutral spirit, whether not good or evil, a neutral spirit was called a demon. A Daemon.
Okay.
So that's like when I think of the books, oh crap, I just forgot the Golden Compass books.
Okay.
The kids have like a shape-shifting animal with them called the demon, and I always thought, why is it called the demon? Demons are evil. But no, according to ancient Greek, a demon is just a spirit. So that's crazy to me. So there's good spirits, which are eudemons, but then there's the evil spirits, which are cacodemons.
Okay.
And cacodemons are known to be shape-shifting, but when we add the omania on it, cacodemoniomania is the act of being possessed by an evil spirit.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
it was also used as a form of insanity. So it's kind of like if we considered someone acting crazy, a lot of times you're like, are they just crazy or are they possessed by a spirit? So that's kind of what cacodemoniomania is.
Cool. Well, you will have to text me the spelling of that so that
Why?
I can.
It's such an easy word.
Because I have to make the Instagram post for this word of the day, and I need to know the spelling. That's crazy.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published material in the Charmed universe and decide how it fits into the grand narrative of the TV series.
All right, well, welcome to Words of the Witches, episode 91. I'm Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
And I'm Sean, and I just love comic books and cacodemoniomania.
Me too. That's amazing. Hey.
Hey.
It's just you and me today. We have a poll from last week. Do you remember what the poll was? I'm just gonna I keep asking. I'm just gonna tell you because you don't remember what the poll was. It's
Okay.
It's who was the most annoying Charmed character?
Oh yeah, and
Okay,
I said Jenny.
You said Jenny, and I said Kyle. But after we recorded and I started posting about it, when I posted about it, I'm like, I kind of changed my mind. Because now that I had time to think about it, I'm like, Kyle was only in one episode being annoying. And I'm going to change it to Odin, because Odin is the leader of all the elders that I hate so much who have been consistently annoying for years. So I had to change it to Odin. So when I said Kyle on the podcast, but I actually voted on this one, and I chose Odin.
Okay.
So let's see who the options were: Jenny, Kyle, Odin, or Christy Jenkins. And the lowest one, the least offensive one, was actually Kyle.
Wow.
Only 8 people voted for him. So 5%. Then the next least amount of votes, so the next least annoying, is Jenny.
Well,
Yeah.
I like how both of the ones we picked were the lowest, so we're just not in
Right.
tune with these annoying characters.
Right. And I've been hearing, because Galen said that they didn't annoy him as much because they were teenagers, so maybe they just chalked it up to being teenagers, being annoying teenagers, and that's normal for them.
Okay.
Then the next least, in second place, the second most hated is Odin at 32 votes, 18%.
Okay.
Which means Christy is the ultimate hated. 63% of the votes.
Wow.
111 votes for Christy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so Kyle got 8. Christy got 111. That's pretty insane. So
Yeah.
I guess we know who the most hated character on Charmed is.
Cunty Christie.
Cunty Christie, bringing it back. And that was just on Instagram. On Twitter, lots of people were writing in stuff. Someone said, Christie, it's not even close. Odin was the worst elder ever. Jenny was by far the worst. Maybe Kyle and Jenny ran off together and had super annoying babies.
Aww, and they became elders.
Cool. Well, that's all I got. So, silence! So today's comic book is Season 10, Issue 16, Happy Ending. Do you notice something different about that?
No.
I noticed it last week, because last week when they had the preview, it said The Happy Ending, and then when it came out, they changed it to just Happy Ending. They dropped the when it came out.
Okay. I wonder if the Zenoscope was like, this is going to make people think it's the end. There's still more, bitches.
Right, that's true. So, Happy Ending. And Happy Endings has a better ring to it. I feel like The Happy Ending does sound finite, you know?
Yeah.
This was published February 10th, 2016. Written by Pat Shand, artwork by Lisa Feliz, colors by Valentina Cuomo, letters by Christy Sawyer, edited by Pat Shand, and cover by David Seidman. And this cover, it's got Henry, Piper, Paige, and Phoebe all kind of like huddled together, and it's like a burning photograph.
Like, I'd be mad, because if I pick this up off the shelf, the comic really doesn't have anything to do with what's on the cover.
That's true. That's very true. This image looks vaguely familiar to me. I believe they superimposed Henry on there, so I don't know where Henry's from. I think they just drew Henry there. That's supposed to be what's his face? Eduardo Bezeregue, whatever, or Mr. Right. I can't remember how to say his name, but you know, that guy from Prince Charmed. Because that's definitely Piper with him in the photo, and then Paige is wearing that same outfit. Phoebe I can barely tell because it's a face, but it's definitely like a Prince Charmed set photo, a mocked up version. And for this opening, it says, since discovering that Prue has become the nexus of the all, life has been a struggle for the Charmed Ones. A crafty spell protects the sisters from Prue's power, which was literally eating their futures, and they are racing against time as the spell wears off. Their plan to split the power of the all between the 4 of them was cut short when they learned Tyler was possessed by an old one named Heremus. As Tyler is used as a weapon against the sisters, Kira takes Ben on a trip through time that seems to have shattered reality. And that's where we left off.
Oh, no.
Oh, you get a singing page. And you know what? Aaron did make me one for this, but I didn't listen to it yet, so I have no idea what it sounds like.
Okay.
Oh God. Oh God, am I? You're alive! You're an incredible idiot, and you're alive! No, this isn't right. I know what you tried to do, you jerk. Why the hell am I here? You should be thanking your lucky stars that your dumbass plan didn't work out. I thought you freaking shattered time. We should have warned you. A spell this intense will give the impression of a break as your spirit snaps back to its place in time and space. Don't worry, you're fine. That's the problem. I don't want to be fine, damn it. I don't understand. I stood in his place. I felt myself get stabbed, and I thought I did it. I felt it. Your son's memories are now yours. You saw what he saw because you've already lived it. You cannot save what is no longer there. I hope we've helped you see that. Wait. Goodbye. My son is dead. I'm so sorry, Benjamin.
Do you want to break down what just happened?
Yeah, so Ben and Kira just woke up from the spell that we ended last issue with, where basically Ben got killed, I guess, technically, instead of Cole. But they woke up, and basically the Encantadas are there, and they're telling him that doesn't work because it already happened, and Cole's soul is gone. So all you really did in all this like huge thing is just combine your memories with his. So now you remember it happening firsthand to you.
Yeah, it's crazy. So pretty much the whole shattering effect is kind of how you see when that reality that you travel back reverts back to your original present. So you're just it's almost like you're going into a vision that's not even real anymore. So it's like he almost went into the memory that's already there, and now the shattering is just him coming out of that memory.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was a show like that by Stephen King. It was a date, and he kept going back in time, but whatever timeline happened would basically break at the end of it. It was weird.
Yeah. So they did trick us a little bit last issue, making us think that the whole reality is warped now. But no, it's like, fooled ya, fake out, it's fine.
I know. I'm a tiny bit mad about the fake out, just a tiny bit, but I'm okay.
So then the next page, it continues where we left off too, where the sisters arriving at Kareem's house and blasting open the door, and Phoebe's like, "Oh my god!" and Prue is just like, "Tuatha!" She's just running after her as Tuatha like goes into like a fire portal, and Paige is like, "Who?" and Piper says, "You don't want to know," which is clever because Paige was not there to know Tuatha, so.
Okay. I guess I didn't realize Tuatha was so early in the series that even Prue met her.
Yeah, I mean, only Prue. Well, Prue, Piper, and Phoebe met her. It was in season 2.
Wow.
Season 2, episode 6. Yeah, that whole black magic. And so then in the aftermath, Kareem is still tied to the chair, and they're kind of helping him. And Paige is like, "Kareem, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm really not. She's like possessing Tyler, and Piper's like, we know." And then Kareem's like, "She knows Tyler's an Archai. She's gonna use his power. This is really bad." And then Prue, oh, this is so sexy to me. She's like, "She's not gonna do a damn thing." And Prue just eyes glow burgers, and we see like Tuatha like crash to the floor out of her portal. She's like, and this poor person walking their dog like, ah. Yeah, Prue comes down though, and she's like, yes, makes Tuatha smash into the ground. It is amazing.
Yeah. And then we see Tuatha all like Scarlet Witch style at the end of WandaVision in her red dress floating in the sky. And she's like, "Would you look at that? The witch has power." And Prue says, "Sister, you have no idea." And Tuatha says, "Actually, I believe I do. I feel you, little witch," bursting at the seams. "Something's holding you back, isn't it? Something keeping the real you from showing. We can't have that now, can we?" And she claps her hands together, and then there's like these lights that sparkle by the sisters, and Phoebe says, "Oh no, please not now." And Piper says, "The spell." And then so it looks like what happened is Tuatha canceled out the Prue spell that was protecting everybody from her. So the three sisters all faint except for Prue, still standing. And Kareem is there to catch Paige at least. He says, "Paige, Prue, what's happening?"
And see, this is the part that's very unclear to me, because it does look like Tuatha might have done it herself. Or maybe it's just good timing that she's like attacking them and the spell just wore off now anyway. I don't know which is real. You know, 'cause we knew it was going to wear off no matter what. Is this just the timing of it all, or did Tuatha actually do it? And they make it look like Tuatha did it, but I don't know for sure.
I think because she claps, I'm going to say she did it.
Yeah, okay. But how does she have that power?
Well, I would say, here's my theory. as the spell's getting older and nearing its expiration anyway, it's probably not as powerful, and it's easier for Tuatha just to like end it while it's getting weaker.
Okay. Yeah, maybe this is a question for Pat to ask.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not keeping a tally, but I feel like we always have these things like maybe this would be good to ask him. By the time he comes back on, we'll forget everything.
We'll forget everything.
Or we'll be too distracted by other important things that are going on, you know. So, but you know, it's on the record. Okay. Oh, so the next page is a double spread. Whoa!
Whoa!
So we got Tuatha going now, and she's using Tyler's archive powers. These aren't even her powers, so she's tapping into his powers and making all these rings of fire, all these portals, which is very familiar. This has happened a lot since Tyler became an archive. This is like the most common thing. But she's opening up the portals, and the sisters are saying, "Kareem, get out of here now!" And Phoebe says, "No." I guess there's all these people, all these thoughts. And Prue's like, "You'll be dead within minutes. It's up to me. I gotta do this." Because I'm the big sister. And, you know, because, you know, being around Prue is making them, they're hurting again, so they can't really function properly anyway. So that's what's weird. They think they're going to fight. I mean, I guess it's typical for the sisters to want to fight even when they don't stand a chance. But still. So Pepper's like, "Don't worry about us. Just go stop her. We'll do what we can on the ground. Go!" And then we see, this is very Ghostbusters to me.
Like, I was seeing the same thing.
So all these like demons, and they look more like ghosties. This like floaty, like Slimer looking demon comes out of the portal, and then another one comes out. And then Tuatha's like, "Ah! You're just going to watch as your sisters die then?" This is what all villains do now. Ah. "This is, after all, the family that used a teenage boy as a weapon against me when they couldn't defeat me themselves. Pitiful." So that she's mentioning the Kyle guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Prue says, "You should have stayed dead, Tuatha." And then she's like, "Ha! Look who's talking, bitch! I'm the one who should have stayed dead! Ha! Your mere presence is killing the only people who care if you live or die. Life's grand, isn't it, Prue?" I want this to be like Ursula. Life's grand, ain't it?
Ain't it? She's the best.
Yeah, as Prue comes flying at her. So Prue always gets like the standoffs with like the fierce queens, you know?
Yeah. Well, she's fierce.
Mm-hmm.
So next up we see Piper is holding Phoebe's hand, and they're running from the battle, and she's like, "Come on, Phoebe, stay with me." And Phoebe's like, "I can't see, Piper. I can't." And she's like kicking something. Oh, she's kicking a bug.
Yeah,
a bug.
a spider.
So do you think, because I was kind of unclear, is she saying like I can't physically see, or does she not have like her empathy power seeing?
See, and that's another thing too, because later on she says like she's blind. So is she losing her vision? Did she like black out because of the bell wearing off? It's just that much of a headache? I don't know.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, the headache's gotten so bad she can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes more sense. Because I found it kind of random. So we see Paige and Kareem are still fighting the Ghostbuster ghost, and Kareem says, "Looks like your lessons paid off." And then Paige goes, "Kah!" And then she faints, and Kareem's like, "Paige, Podge!" And she's like on the ground, knocked out with blood coming out of her nose. Oh,
I know. Ugh.
Oh.
This is going to be our power play moment, though.
All right.
Power play.
Kareem's power. So Kareem's power, we talked about in The Fear Always Comes Back when we first debuted it, is sonic wave emission. This is the ability to release waves of sound. Users can release waves, spirals, rings, pulse, blasts, balls, and bursts of sound, and use them to damage, push, bind, or paralyze people. They're able to send sound through any form of matter, creating ruptures and create a pulse sound that can go through anything. Pretty fun, pretty cool. There's some applications of it. So other ways that it can be used are to augment or diminish the sound abilities of others. Concussive force, much like optic blast. Oh, but it's through sound. Ooh. Deflection, they can disrupt energy fluctuation. Various sound attacks, sound ring creation, and omnidirectional sound waves. So all different directions.
So he's like Richter from X-Men.
Exactly. So while this power exists a lot, it's in lots of media, especially X-Men and superhero comic books and stuff. But this is the only time we've seen it in Charmed canon at all.
Ooh.
I mean, I guess we can count maybe the Banshee or maybe the Siren song had a little bit of this kind of effect, but not quite to this extent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next page. Oh, this is going down, this battle. So now, just like Tuatha got slammed into the ground earlier when Prue did it, now Tuatha's like raining down on Prue and crashing her to the ground. She's like, ha 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 ha! What a waste of power! Afraid to show me what you really are! And as Prue is pinned, she looks and she sees Paige on the ground. She's like, oh my goodness! And then Prue's like, get off! And she's like, shadow blast Tuatha. This is like what the Nexus, when you're possessed by the Nexus, that kind of power. Like, where'd this come from? But, Prue's the Nexus of the all. She can tap into any power that exists. So, and then as she's laying on the ground, Prue says, I could kill you right now, you vile, nauseating affront to Wicca. And then if you see kind of her spirit form, her spirit body leave her actual body, and she flies up to Tuatha, and she's like, but you have something I want. And then she like goes inside of Tuatha. Astral projects into Tuatha's body. Kind of like what she did in Primrose Empath when she like astral projected into Viserys' body and kind of blew him up from the inside. That's kind of what she's doing here.
Oh, nice.
So she's astral projecting into Tuatha's body and she's like, ah!
Ew. So now we are inside Tyler, but not in that way, Kevin, you pervert. We're inside his head. Well, I guess technically Tuatha as Tyler, and spiritual Prue is like, Tyler, I'm here. Can you hear me? Everything's going to be okay. And a voice says, come closer, come. And back in the real world, Piper says, whoa, Phoebe, look. And Phoebe says, I think I'm blind. And then we see what Piper's looking at is Tuatha basically like shooting bright light out of her face because she's like being just incapacitated by Prue.
Yeah.
And inside, Prue's like, oh. And then I imagine it's Heremus, and I imagine he's just like very like deep, like calm voice. He's just like, hello, Prue. And then she's like, I know what you are. And he's like, I know what you are. And then she says, then you should have defeated or escaped while you had the chance. But like Heremus is like tied up like a puppet. I take it he's like puppeting Tyler this way. This is how he's controlling.
He's like tied to Tyler's inner membranes, I guess, and he's using those links, those branches to like infect every part of his body.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird seeing him because before we had that giant husk form as the wasteland. It's interesting seeing him now. It kind of reminds me of like Cell from Dragon Ball Z, like this bug, humanoid thing,
Yeah.
But the next page, we see Prue's astral self, ghost self, start tearing at Heremus and like kind of pulling him out of his ties, and it's like and Heremus is kind of sexy from the back.
Oh no.
he's got the, I mean, for a bug thing. But yeah, she tears him off, and when she does that, the binds like kind of like disappear, and Heremus kind of disappears, and Prue's just like, oh, all right. And then we cut to Tuatha on the outside, just black light erupting from her face, from her body, from every pore in her soul or whatever, and then it goes cool, and all you see is like the skeleton of her, just obliterates. So yeah.
Wow. So then next up we see Piper going, oh my glob, because all the different fire portals are like flaming out. All the demons appear to be like being destroyed or going back into portals. And we see, instead of Tuatha coming down from the sky, it's a flaming Tyler. And she says, Tyler! Or no, that's Kareem. Kareem says, Tyler! Tyler, you're alive! Wait, are you going to turn into a monster again? Because that's going to take some time to get over. And Tyler's like, I don't know. I think I'm me again. And they hug on the ground. Aww.
Oh, yeah, that would be traumatizing, though, to think that you're finally safe and he's there and he just attacks you. That broke my heart last issue.
Yeah. Kareem says, I thought I was never going to see you again. And then the sisters are slowly getting back up. And Phoebe says, oh my God, Paige. And Paige says, I'm okay. Wait, how am I okay?
And then continuing on, Piper says, maybe the spell fixed itself when Prue kicked Tuatha's ass back to hell. And then Phoebe says, no, this feels different. And then we see Prue just like crying, like real giant tears. And she's like, it is different. Everything is different. I don't know how, but I saw Heremus. It was inside of Tyler like we thought. I ripped it out, and I felt this rush of power. And then I think it destroyed my connection to the all. I don't know how or what that means, but I think I'm me again as her tattoos float away. What? Oh my goodness, what? So is she free? And they don't seem to have any problem with her around, and they're hugging. They're like, are you okay? We're a happy, happy sister family, as they huddle. And then next to them, Kareem and Tyler are cuddling. What's that? Oh, I guess there's a neighbor watching them, like, oh, what just happened?
His hand is like down the front of his robe. That's weird.
Very weird. Okay. And there's a cop car.
All right, so let's skip to a celebration. Pop! Open the champagne. And then Kareem's like, and then these creepy guys in white suits came, and Tyler's like, the cleaners, dumbass. And then he's like, right, the cleaners. They went door to door and smiled at the neighbors, and everyone just went right back to sleep as if nothing happened. It was like something out of a David Lynch movie. I swear, trippy. David Lynch. And then, is this Adel?
Yeah.
Adel is like they wipe their minds. Dang, I have to learn that one. And then we see on the couch, we have Piper, and she's sitting with Prue. Prue has her arm around her, and she says, I'm sorry about your door. We'll cut you a check for whatever the repairs cost. And is that Paige and Henry?
No, that's Kareem's parents.
Oh, Kareem's parents. I was going to say it's a really badly drawn page, so I'm glad it's not. She's like, are you kidding? You saved our lives. You saved our boy's life. We should be asking what we can do for you. Kevin! It's the doorbell. Bing bong. And then the mom says, isn't anyone going to answer the door? And then we see Piper says, everyone we invited is here, right? And Prue says, I think so. And then Piper says, that's never good. And then Paige says, relax, I'll get it. It's Henry! Hi. Hey, is that a bucket of fried chicken? And then Henry says, I tried to cook something, but I ended up burning it. Didn't want to show up empty-handed, hence the bucket of fried chicken. Can we talk?
Yeah.
If you were with someone and they wanted to make amends, what would be your food that you're like, oh, you brought me this, we're good?
Oh my. Maybe a peanut butter cake.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. That'd be good. I don't
Mine
need
would
a big meal.
Mine would probably be Greek food. I freaking love Greek food.
Nice. Oh, I do like Indian food. Indian would be a good one if I wanted something savory, some curry.
And as long as you're not bottoming that night.
Right.
I made a joke to a straight guy once about how I'd be bottoming and like I'm not gonna eat Mexican or Indian food, and he's like, why? And I was like, are you fucking serious?
How do you not get How do you not get
Yeah,
that? But sure.
it's pretty self-explanatory.
Anyway, continuing on this fried chicken fiasco. This should be good. Either one of them could buy them tonight. So um, so we see Paige chowing down on the chicken, and Henry's like, I don't want this to be the end of us. And Paige is like, what? Excuse me, I'm eating. You can't just drop a bomb like that right now. And Henry's just like staring at a chicken wing. Like,
Slap, slap.
yeah. He's like, I'm not eating it, I'm just looking at it because I'm talking right now. But he's like, I have no idea how to say this. I mean, I still believe everything I said before. I think we have a real problem, Paige. I do. But every night I sleep without you by my side, it's just not good, okay? I miss you. I don't know what the hell to do about that, but there it is. And then Paige is like, I see. So what are we going to do now? And then Henry is like, smiles at her. I have no idea. So it's cute because this tells you that the problems are still there. They're not going to go away, but that love is stronger than all the problems. There's, it's really nice.
Yeah, and as silly as it kind of is, I love this whole like him bringing fried chicken because it shows what kind of person he is. Like I felt like I couldn't come without something. It shows a little more on Paige that like she loves fried chicken, and like to her this is sweet. To other people it might be weird, but like it really shows them as people, and I like that.
Exactly.
All right. On the next page, we're back inside. We still have Piper and Phoebe are sitting at a table together. Tyler and Kareem are talking to Kareem's parents, and Kareem's dad says, all right, you three, time to head out. We have to get Tyler home to his parents. I'm sure they've been worried sick.
I don't know who that is. I think that's actually Benjamin.
Oh, is it?
Because of what Phoebe says after.
Oh, it is Ben. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I just looked on the next page.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's I had to read that a few times to get it.
But then why does Tyler say Mr. Scales?
I know! That's what's so confusing to me. That line is so weird. Like, is he talking to him? Is he talking about him? That line there goofs me up. Huh. I don't know.
Is Kareem's last name Scales?
Yes. Kareem's last name is Scales, and that's his parents' name is Scales. And he says, we have to get Tyler home to his parents. Mr. Scales again. I'm so confused by that line being there. I mean, maybe it could work. I just don't understand it. Is he talking about going there?
Yeah. I'm trying to wrap my head because it doesn't like make sense that that's how Tyler would answer.
Yeah, and it says, I've never should have come to your house. So, Mr. Scales, I should have never come to your house. So it looks like he's talking about him, but then we see.
Oh, I think I get it because they're at the Scales' house now, right?
So yes.
So he's apologizing, like I shouldn't have come here and caused this whole fight that just went down.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They are at the Scales. I kept thinking this was the manor, but you're right. This is not the manor. Wait, no, that is the manor though. Because Paige just went to get the door. I'm so confused. Okay, wait. Maybe we're jumping between two. No. This is the manor, but I'm very confused.
Yeah, I'm confused because it doesn't look like the manor on this page either.
I mean, the table and the kitchen are in the right position, but it does seem bigger and it seems a little less decorated, and that's what can throw you off. But yeah, looking back at everything we've seen so far, it definitely is the manor. So, yeah, I don't understand that line being there, what it means. And I'm glad you didn't get it either.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just chalk it up to Mr. Scales is saying, let's take Tyler home. And this is Tyler showing that he's guilt-ridden still. Like, I knew I was possessed by something and I still went there. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this is definitely Benjamin.
Yeah. Well, I don't
because
know.
of what happens later. He's wearing the
Yeah.
same outfit, leaves with a cigarette.
Yeah, that's wonky. So I wonder if that's on the colorist. Maybe they weren't supposed to make Benjamin's shirt that color because it's Mr. Scales. Maybe they just thought it was Benjamin. Oh well.
Yeah, I continue because based on the dialogue too, the smoke, the cigarette, and the dialogue. But that
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. All right.
Some
And then he said, "Oh yeah, this is more like Ben." He says, "You show me a witch who hasn't been taken over by an evil primordial force, and I'll show you a witch that doesn't get out much." Ha ha! And then Piper says, I hope this isn't too much for you. I know it must be depressing seeing everyone but the person you really want to see." And Phoebe says, "To tell you the truth, Piper, I'm relieved Coop isn't here right now. When the spell stopped working and we were in so much pain, I thought that the next time I see my husband, if I ever see him again, I'd have to tell him that we lost our baby." Oof. And then Piper says, "You didn't. When Coop comes back, and trust me, as someone who has gone through exactly this, he will be back. He's going to return to a happy, happy home. You're strong, Phoebe, and you're not alone, and clearly she is strong too." And Phoebe says, "My little warrior," and she's crying. And then we see Prue's acting kind of not great. She's hiding behind a door, and she's listening, and she hears them saying, "Remember what that cherub said, they're keeping Coop safe while we figure out this thing with the old ones. Which, hey, come to think, Prue destroyed Heremus. Maybe that's it. We'll go back up there tomorrow to have a little chat with this new tribunal and..." Phoebe? Earth to Phoebe, are you with me? As Phoebe's looking at Ben pulling out a cigarette. And Phoebe says, "Sorry, I am. It's just strange, on top of everything else that's going on." And then Piper says, "Yes." And Phoebe says, "It's hard to be in the same room with him and see anybody but Cole."
I mean, it makes sense. He's in Cole's body, so you're literally seeing Cole.
Yeah.
So I'd have a hard time too, Phoebe. The next page, Benjamin walks out of the manor, and he sees Kira there sitting on the porch. He's like, "Hello there." And she's like, "Hi."
Hey.
And he's like, "Beautiful night, isn't it?" She's like, "Ooh, no way, mister." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Don't beautiful night, isn't it me?" She's like, "You tried to kill yourself today. You tried to leave me, and you're in love with Phoebe." He's like, "Whoa, I'm not in love with Phoebe or anyone. I came here to thank you for taking me to the thing and talking to me. Seems a man can't even smoke without getting yelled at." She's like, "Nuh-uh. I heard you talking to Leo earlier today. If you think you can come here and say, 'Beautiful night, isn't it?' to a girl like me while thinking about her, you're crazier than everyone already thinks you are." And he's like, "I don't need this." Kira's just like ranting. She's like, "This is really crazy, loopy even, nutty. I shoot cards short of a deck." Just like rambling. And he's like, "I'm out of here." And then he leaves, and then she turns around and like looks all sad at him. And this is so interesting because now that Kira is human, she's experiencing all these emotions that she never thought she would have. This is all kind of new for her. As a demon, she didn't really have this.
Oh, true.
So, and this is we talked about on the bonus episode. We talked about morality and how we think demons do have the capability to love and have emotions too. But I think now that she's human, this might have been in there before, but it's definitely opened things up a lot more. And she's really getting the bevy of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably like a trickle of emotion before, but now she's got the whole waterfall. She's got all her juices flowing.
Yeah. This is very much a girl conversation. I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship with a woman, but...
Well, and sometimes guys can be like that too. Guys get crazy.
Especially gay guys. That's true.
Yeah.
So
now back inside we have Piper with the glass of champagne. She's coming over to Prue and she says, "May I offer you a glass of our finest convenience store champagne?" And Prue says, "You may." And then Piper says, "Ah." And Prue says, And Piper leans on Prue's shoulder and says, "Just this, it feels good. We really finally have you back." And she's like, "I've been back, bitch." And Piper's like, I know, but with all of this pain and the stuff that's been going on, I know we have a lot to figure out. The magic of the all must have gone somewhere. For all we know, this could have made things a lot worse. But right now, that doesn't matter. You're really here, Prue. And Prue says, yes, I am.
Yeah, it seems like such a happy moment. Everything is back to normal. And she's like, yeah, I'm not, and this time I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And I do like that out of the sisters, Piper would be the one who would revel in Prue being back the most, because she has the biggest time with her dying.
Exactly. And if you go back all the way to our ebooks, after she became the Nexus of the All, and she was the first one to visit and like stuck there at her Nexus and spent all their time there. So it is very fitting. And now that she's no longer being hurt and having this trauma around her, she can really get back to those fields.
Mm-hmm.
So it is lovely.
Yeah.
But then we cut to Nox Academy. Oh, remember this place? And we see Prue, her little lightning burger floating in the sky. And then we see her roam through the halls of Nox Academy. And then we see a shadow of the woman who was like in love with Nox. Remember her? She's like, oh, Mr. Nox. Oh. But she was like, I don't know what she is. Then I keep calling her a nurse, but it's not a hospital. But she was always dressed like a nurse.
Yeah.
She's like, excuse me, miss. And Prue just ignores her. And then she's like, man! This is a private institution! She goes 0 to 100 over here. And she's like, what do you think you're doing here? And then Prue looks at her like, bitch! Like, don't use that tone of voice with me.
So Prue turns around and she answers with a calm Shazak! She electrifies this poor nurse lady and like disapparates her. She's a pile of smoke now and ash.
Oh my gosh.
And we see Prue's the skin under her shirt is starting to bubble up and there's an eerie green glow. I wonder what that could be. And Prue pulls up her sleeves and goes, oh, because it's the little green, like, gross seed thingy. She's going to spread her seed.
Oh my gosh. Like, all your codes is his seeds. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting heavy. So then, the next page, this is so haunting. She, like, is floating down the halls, like, her arms are like, just, like, gliding along the floor. As these children, these Nox Academy students, are sleeping and snoring and zizzing, then she, like, spreads her seed down the halls. They go through the doors into the children, and she's, like, grinning that evil grin, and the students go, ah! Get it off of me! Get it off of me! Help! And they're, like, freaking out. Okay, continue.
Okay. And then we see all the kids are running out of their rooms while Prue just calmly stands and watches, and they're yelling, help me, it hurts so much. Ah, I can't breathe. It's killing me. And they all fall to the ground. And one girl is able to stay conscious, but she crawls to Prue's leg and says, please help. I feel like I'm on fire. I can't breathe. And Prue says, it's okay. I promise everything is going to be beautiful. You're going to be so important. And this girl is like purple with green glowing eyes and like weird roots hair. So she's definitely different from the other students. She seems like she's probably a demon, I'm guessing, of some kind.
Yeah, we know Nox Academy is like a neutral school, so they leave it open to all kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
So that is heart-wrenching because Prue is just standing there doing nothing as these students are horrified. And she allows them to be scared, allows them to be in pain, and then she comforts the student like it's a good thing, like this is a joyous moment. It's warped. It's my heart. Okay. Then the next page, Prue leaves the school, she walks out, and then she's greeted by possessed Nox now. Oh my gosh. And it says, I felt your presence for weeks. I wondered when you would find me. And then Prue just like leans on. She's like, yeah, I know you've been waiting for me. And Nox is like, it's incredible. The nexus of the all is within you. I can feel it pulsating. Ooh, the things we can do. So the nexus is not gone like we thought. It maybe just moved more inward. You don't have any outward appearance. I don't know. Maybe it's more control. I don't know. Maybe the tattoos moved to a new hidden place.
I have a theory.
Yes.
So I think if she's being possessed, my question would be then, if there's a soul possessing her body, then where is Prue's soul? And if Prue's soul isn't in that body, then maybe that's
Where the tattoos
why
win.
the tattoos went with Prue's soul, and that's also why
Yeah.
her power's not affecting the sisters anymore.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack here. This is crazy. But he's like, how did you pull off such a feat? The old ones have been longing to tap into the all since humanity claimed this poor realm. And then Bruce says, they all came to me. It was meant to feel this way. Be this way. I feel it in my heart. And then he says, you sound different, Heremus. Which is interesting. That Heremus would say, I feel it in my heart. That sounds like a Prue thing. So they're almost like merging in a way. There's still some elements of Prue that's making him feel things differently. Because the older one would not say in my heart, ever.
True.
So that's why he's like, you sound different, because he noticed that language is different. So that's very telling. And then Nox says, and Nox is not even Nox either. He's possessed by some demon too. It looks like Exakiel, but I think it's not Exakiel. I think it's another one. But it's been such a long time, hasn't it, old friend? Talking about Heremus, because he said you sound different, Heremus. And Prue's like, that name makes me shudder, makes me sick. That's who I used to be in another life. I'm no longer Heremus. And then Nox says, what should I call you then?
And then we see this person walking away from the school, and she says, my name is Prue. Evil smiley grin face.
Oh my god! So, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
So I think what this is telling us is, you pointed out, I do think that Prue's in there somehow and still bonded with Heremus, but it's also telling us that Heremus is reveling in this new body. He likes being Prue more than he liked being himself, because as Prue, he can slither into different situations that he wasn't able to as Heremus. He can blend in with people now and get close to the charmed ones.
Yeah. And it just became a perk and a bonus that Prue happened to be the Nexus of the All. So now he has access to all the Earth's magic too.
I'm wondering too,
scary.
I'm getting an impression, like I wonder if Prue, something inside her, is reveling in this new power too.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe not the old one evil influence, but there's still, she likes being powerful. We know that she would get rid of it to protect her sisters, but at the same time she enjoys having all these abilities, having the strength for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So what about the issue overall? How do you feel about that?
Overall, I really liked it. I really liked the bait and switch of kind of thinking that, oh, everything's good now, but then when you really look at it, you see the moment that Heremus goes into Prue. So I thought that was a really clever way to write it, as like, it's not what we think it is. Things are still shit. So I'm excited that this is what leads us into the final 4 issues.
Yeah. So I really like this issue a lot too. I was confused by some things that we kind of brought up. Just like some of the action during the Tuatha battle. But I do love the back and forth with the Tuatha, because Prue and Tuatha were pretty great together. And the apparent happy ending came quickly. And I do appreciate all those very small, intimate interactions that happened for much of the issue, because after Tuatha is gone, then it's just them in the aftermath. And very... I am kind of ambivalent about them in a sense, because they are nice and it does give us time with the characters to just be themselves. I really do appreciate moments like that, because you get to get that emotion and get the characters without any kind of other distractions. And these are there to give the illusion that the battle is over. So I get their purpose. But as much as I feel they're important, they do feel a little bit like fluff. A little bit. And I only say that not because they're not good, because they are very good, but these are all issues that I know will be revisited in a more consequential way down the line. So at this moment, they just feel a little like they're there. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But they are good, and love the emotion that's there, the sentiment that's there is very powerful. So I'm not gonna fault it for anything, but I feel like there's more that will come for those. But the real punch of this issue is that ending. All the horrific acts, all the Prue, all the Heremus, the conniving grin, it's all chilling. It's like I get goosebumps like crazy. So anything for canonical? Put that in my canonical hat.
Canonical.
Tuatha's back.
Tuatha's back. I mean, definitely that Mr. Scales line in the kitchen. That I just don't understand, and I can't rationalize it in any sense. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's an editing error in there somewhere, or there's something that got cut and got squished.
The thing that makes sense to me with that is I think they were supposed to color the shirt like purplish right there, because I think it was supposed to be Mr. Scales, but I think they just colored it as Ben's shirt.
Okay, but then why would... So do you think it was Mr. Scales there, but then Ben came through? Because Ben was definitely there. So both of them are there, you mean?
Well, yeah, even that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because the way he walks by Piper and Phoebe, it looks like he's walking from that direction. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense anyway.
But then he talks about how the kids have to go, and then he just leaves without the kids anyway.
Yeah, and he does say that line about, if you show me a witch who hasn't been taken over by evil. That doesn't seem like something Mr. Scales would say.
Right. So, I mean, maybe they're both supposed to be there, but it's very unclear, and that bothers him to me.
Yeah.
I also have a canonical thing about the cleaners in that same moment.
Okay.
Because apparently in this, the cleaners went door to door, wiping the neighbors' memories. I don't buy it. They are blanket fixers. They don't go one by one to neighbor's house. They just go, I'm going to wave my hand and everything's done. That's how they do it. It's very fast. Their method is very instantaneous. Going door to door is not their style at all. Far too time consuming. So no, that's not canonical.
Well, Kevin, as an expert on the cleaners, it takes a lot more magic for them just to wave their hands. So going door to door, it's a little more time consuming, but you conserve a lot of magic power.
Sure. Okay. Whatever.
I don't know.
But now that we're on the subject of cleaners, let me break down cleaners because we talked about this multiple times on Hanging with the Hallowells plug on the continuity of the cleaners, but I'm just going to break it down here because I don't think I ever talked about it here, about their existence and what's canonical or not canonical about them, because I have problems with them. Let's break it down. So, Forget Me Not, Season 6, Episode 3. That's their first appearance. And I remember I found that frustrating because where were they in All Hell Breaks Loose? You know? But then we rationalized, you and I, talked about that maybe they were created as a response to the All Hell Breaks Loose events. So pass. Okay, they were created after the fact. Okay, because they don't want things like that to happen again. Okay, so cleaners are fine again. But then, in Crimes and Misdemeanors, we were told that the cleaners watched them since they became charmed. It's like, okay, what the fuck? Now we're back to problems. Okay, so now because that doesn't make sense. So now we rationalize that they only intervene when it's impossible for the sisters to fix the exposure on their own. And in All Hell Breaks Loose, they did figure it out on their own, so they weren't needed. I don't really like that explanation, but I'll let it pass. Sure. But then, the cleaners show up for trivial things, like small magic street market fires, which can easily be fixed by the sisters. So, that logic doesn't work either.
But wouldn't the people have seen the flaming portals in the sky? Like, how do you explain that or fix that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I mean, the cleaners showing up is not my problem. It's just the coexistence of them in general. Like, when do they act? and why do they act? Because so far I keep trying to make reasons for them to exist, and they keep messing it up. So this comic has nothing to do with messing up except for the door-to-door part. But I'm just talking about Charmed lore in general.
Yeah.
So and then they have this thing where like the sisters, they say that they'll keep doing magic, if they don't do what they say, because they say, yeah, save Daryl's life, or you're just gonna keep doing magic. And that's what they did. They just keep exposing themselves to make the cleaners angry. But we know damn well that if they did that, it wouldn't work, because the Charmers know firsthand how much that would hurt themselves too. I let the ploy slide in Forget Me Not because that was, a first thing, and they were exposing magic. But the only way that the notion would work, that if they keep exposing magic to make the cleaners angry, would even work is if they expose magic without exposing themselves. Like, don't put them, because once you expose the charmed ones, then that's it. So, I don't know. And then the cleaners decide to completely ignore the sisters anyway, no matter what they do. So really, their existence isn't even needed at all. So long story short, I just don't like the cleaners. I don't like the tribunal that made them. I'm bothered. It's one of the many reasons I don't like season 6 as much. So, yeah, there's a cleaner history for you.
Yay.
All right, tips for future white letters.
Oh, really just messengers? Guides? Think of us as guardian angels for good witches.
Tips for future white letters.
I was out being a force of good in the universe.
What's the moral of the story?
I'm gonna say one of the morals I got out of it was to talk about your needs and be clear with other people on your needs. Because when I look at like Henry and Paige, we have a very clear example of Henry just telling Paige, I don't have all the answers. I don't know what's going on, but I love you and I need to work through this. So that at least gives Paige a roadmap as to where they are and what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. Whereas when we look at like Kira and Ben, Kira's not communicating what she needs to Ben, which is causing her to just get angry with him, and like it's not healthy. So I like the juxtaposition of those.
Mm-hmm. Nice. My tip is happily ever after doesn't really exist.
Oh.
There are only ups and downs. Life goes on with and without you. Before and after so-called happily ever after, it keeps going. So even when you think you're happy, it's not permanent. It's always changing. The world's always changing around you. So there's always gonna be something,
Mm-hmm.
So just happy times and sad times, really, is what it comes down to.
Yep.
All right. Next is onomatopoeia. There's quite a few this issue.
There is. My favorite one, and it's because of RuPaul, is BAM!
BAM!
BAM! And that's because of Alexis Mateo. BAM!
Yeah. Where was that? Which panel was that?
So it's all the way back in the beginning when Tuatha is slamming Prue down.
My onomatopoeia is RIP! I don't know. I like it. It's dramatic. I don't know. I can just picture it, and it's like I can picture like the threads just kind of getting thinner, and I don't know. It's just kind of cool.
Nice.
Okay, most valuable panel.
I'm gonna go with this one along the same lines when we see the spiritual Prue with Heremus's talons at her neck, like infecting her, and she's like, "Oh, I think that's so effective because." We think it's one thing, but it turns out it's completely something different. You know what I mean? Like she's getting possessed right there, which is crazy.
Right, and we think that she's just saving the day.
Yeah.
Ooh. For me, it's that final page. That evil walk, that grin. My name is Prue. The school is glowing behind her. It's very effective. It's very haunting. It's just like leaves you with chills.
Yeah.
All right. Sexiest drawing.
So this one looks nothing like him, but I'm going to go with the Henry drawing this time. When Henry is on the porch eating fried chicken or playing with fried chicken with Paige. And he says, I have no idea. And he just kind of gives her that smile. I think it's just sexy that like he's being so open with her, that like he's just full of love for her in that moment, even though everything's not right. So that stuck with me as sexy.
Very nice, beautiful. I love that. I was gonna choose the pop up the champagne just because of the suggestiveness of it. Because champagne is always used for innuendo. I'm like pop, and then fuzz, and but I did not go with that, even though it would be the obvious choice. Mine is the part where Prue, her eyes glow and her hands out, and she's like, she's not going to do a damn thing about Tuatha. I'm like, that, I get so happy. I'm like, she's just on it. So that's my sexiest. Okay, so now we're at issue ranking. Is this magically delicious, pretty witchin', a sorcerer's apprentice, disenchanting, or vanquishable?
I'm gonna go with Pretty Witchin'. We had feel a lot of little things happening to lead up to bigger things, and I still am very bothered about that Ben or Mister
Yeah.
whatever thing.
It is so bothersome. It's so little, but it's just enough to be like, grr, it doesn't make sense. You and I are very on par this season. We're so matchy-matchy. I'm pretty witchy as well.
Nice.
Because, yes, so much great things. Just little irks here. But, I know we're leading into that epic conclusion. So it's coming.
Yep.
Okay, so the final thing is P is for Pole.
Piper.
You mean it's just you and Prue, huh?
Phoebe? Phoebe, you there?
And a big hello to you too, Penny.
Come on, Patty. The rest is up to them.
Paige. My name is Paige.
Another P, imagine that.
P is for Pole.
And my question for next week is, who is your favorite undercover evil from the series? And I decided to make it all females, very women-centric. So the options are Darla, aka the succubus. Abby, do you remember Abby?
Mm-mm.
She's the one who was obsessed with Prue and tried to take over Prue and then kill Prue and take over her life. She worked at P3. Oh my goodness. Then we have the Stillman sisters. Or Imara.
I'm gonna say the Stillman sisters.
Okay. That's Galen's favorite too. He's in love with the Stillman sisters.
Yay!
I'm going to say, it's between Abby and Amara for me. Because Amara was just pure camp and pure amazingness, and the way that she impersonated Phoebe is pretty amazing and pretty ingenious, And then Abby, I think, was truly terrifying because she was just a human. Stalker human.
Yeah.
And that's real world, and that's it. Actually, she got to Prue. She really made Prue feel scared, which for a human is pretty amazing too. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Abby, I think, but Amara was very close for me too. Okay, cool. So we did it. Tell us what's next.
Coming next, we see an image of Prue smile. I love the way her face, bottom half of her face and her hair is drawn here. And she's holding, is that supposed to be a Kira doll, or is that a Phoebe doll?
That's a Piper doll.
That's Piper?
Yeah.
Oh. She's holding a Piper doll and manipulating it. And it's called Effigy, and it says, after last issue's happy ending, it seems that all is right with the Charmed Ones. However, when a seemingly casual trip to see their father reveals something startling, everything that has happened to them is called into question. With the advent of the old ones approaching, will the Charmed Ones stand on the side of good or evil?
Oh. Yeah. Cool. So that's the end of this episode. Sean, where can we follow you?
You can follow me on A Marvelous Galaxy of Disney. We're on and off again right now. We have news about Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney, but because of the strike, here and there. You can also catch up on Solving for X, which usually I let you say, but I get to say it this time. Because on Solving for X, we are going through the whole X series, so you can catch up on those until we're back from the strike. Or you can find our travel company, My Magical Journeys.
Woo-hoo. Yeah. Okay, I love that. You can follow this podcast at Words of the Witches on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, or whatever Twitter is now, Words of Witches. I post there, but I don't like it. So if you, I would recommend Instagram if you have it and have the means. Follow us on Instagram first. It's better.
Yeah.
I don't want to promote the other thing. And then you will see us next week for Effigy. So it is. It's gonna be great. So we'll see you then. Until then, keep calm and carry on. Is that to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your destiny still awaits.